The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
I felt like we wasn't making no common ground. After 7 years, I didn't see our future going any further, so I decided to leave.
Was she angry about that?
Angry, bitter, spiteful, everything you can name, she was that.
This is the plaintiff, Etan Gibson. She says the defendant, her ex-boyfriend and father of her daughter, is being a stubborn you-know-what because he owes her money and thinks he can get away without paying her. She doesn't know what planet the defendant thinks he's living on because she's not going to let him get away with what he's trying to pull. Is suing him for the $3,688.43 he owes her and is looking very forward to her day in court today. This is the defendant, Charlie Daniels. He says he broke up with the plaintiff because he wanted a better life, and now he's being sued for things he simply does not owe. That's right. This is a lawsuit born out of plain and simple spite from a jilted ex. He's paid off his debt, and now the plaintiff is just grasping at straws. He's accused of running away.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Etan, how do I pronounce your name?
Etan.
Etan Gibson,
Yes.
You are suing Charlie Daniels, your ex-boyfriend and father of your child, for $3,688.43 that you say he owes you and won't pay. Tell me what happened.
Okay, we initially got an apartment together after some rocky stuff. It was like our second apartment. We ended up getting evicted because 2 or 3 months into the apartment, he ended up losing his job. So the eviction was like $4,000, and it hit our credit because...
How was the eviction $4,000?
It was a lot of fees. It was fees for damage. It was fees for back owed rent. It was.
And what do you mean by it was? Was there a judgment against you in court, or is the landlord seeking that money? What is it?
That was something that the landlord they took to court, but we never showed, so they were granted the...
Why didn't you show?
They didn't have an address for me in order for me to get the court dates after we left the premises.
Do you have something in writing from that judgment?
Yes. I actually have all of the paperwork that they summoned us with.
Why didn't you show up?
Well, I didn't receive no mail also, but I was able to pay the last portion of the rent because I had my last paycheck from work. She decided she didn't want to pay her end because she felt like I owed her to pay the rent.
And then you guys move into another apartment together.
She moved in to another apartment probably a week later.
And did you move in with her?
I moved in with her. My name was...
Right. And you stayed together for how long after that?
Close to a year.
Close to a year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So tell me what else he owes you.
After the eviction process happened, I ended up finding out I was pregnant in February of 2013. So that's when, for me, everything changed. There was no more IOUs, no more... basically us having the problems that we were having. So we moved into the apartment together, and the agreement was that we were going to split the bills.
At this point, you're pregnant with your child?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your child's how old now?
She's 2 now.
She's 2 now.
Mm-hmm.
You're pregnant with her, and what happens?
We got the apartment together. The agreement was to split the bills 50-50. The problem we had was paying the bills and getting the baby items. It was either going to be one or the other on his end. So he would provide me with what he could, and I would split it up amongst the bills. Well, one day he asked me, which was really in August, the day when the promissory note was signed, he asked me for $20 for gas money.
All right, you had him sign a promissory note that said that he owed you $800 and something. Okay, that is signed when? August of what year?
August of 2013.
Why is it that now, all these years later, you're suing? When did you guys break up?
We broke up just last year.
Who broke up with who? Because you're going back into 4 years and figuring out everything.
It was like 2.5 years, but he broke up with me.
No, the eviction was in what year?
The eviction was in 2012.
That's right. That's almost past the statute of limitations. Okay, not quite, but almost. So now, so because you guys broke up, now you're suing him.
Yes.
Who broke up with who?
I separated from her.
For what reason?
I felt like we wasn't making no common ground. After 7 years, I didn't see our future going any further, so I decided to leave.
Was she angry about that?
Angry, bitter, spiteful, everything you could name, she was that.
Oh, and what? What did she do that makes you think that?
Oh, what she done tried to come up to my job, get me fired. She done put up all the information on my fiance.
You have a fiance already?
Yeah.
Well, that was quick.
It wasn't too quick.
How quick was it?
A year. She done tried to come to her job. She done put up information.
To what? To your fiance's job?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you mean by tried to come to her job?
She sent text messages saying that she was gonna come up to the job.
Do you have the text?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I see them? Did you go nuts?
Technically, yes.
A little bit. Now that you know I'm going to see the text, because you were making faces like that doesn't happen, that didn't happen. Now he's got some text, I'm going to see something.
He explained it wrong. No, I don't have no gripes about the case because I was really mad. What happened was when he left, it was like, oh, I'm moving in with this girl. But he never said
just
that.
Like that? He went from you to her?
Yes. We broke up in May.
So you figured that he was cheating on you?
Exactly. We broke up in May. We actually went to Orlando May 26th, my birthday. Her birthday is June 10th. So they were in Orlando not even 2 weeks after we went to Orlando. So how it started was he told me, he said, well, I'm on a business trip. So I said, a business trip. So I called him. He wouldn't answer. So I called until he picked up. So he was
psycho
like...
called him? You psycho called him?
Not technically psycho call. I called him until he picked up.
No, it's very effective. You psycho call him. You just keep calling until it's more trouble to not pick up than to pick up. You just keep calling, 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 keep calling. Then he just finally answered.
Yeah, he finally answered, and he was like, well, get out of your feelings. And I was like, well, what feelings do I have? Like, I'm not understanding. You said it was a business trip. So then it went from there. The text message just did not start for me to be crazy until he involved my daughter. So he told me that, well, I'll give you the money. Come up to the job and get it.
Have you been to court to have to get child support?
Yes, ma'am. It took a minute, but I finally got it.
Okay.
That's when the text messages stopped because I no longer needed to ask him for anything or let him know that his daughter was still alive.
Does he see the daughter?
No.
Why haven't you seen your daughter?
She won't allow me to see my daughter.
Well, why don't you man up and put your big boy pants on go to court, the same court that's having you pay? Has it been adjudicated already? Are you guys in front of family court?
Yes.
But how do you not see your daughter in all these months?
I have tried over
What do
and
you
over
mean you tried? Did you go to court?
I contacted her.
Did you go to court?
No,
Then
ma'am.
you didn't try. Be a father. They're not even that crazy. Most of them are about the baby. All right. She does have a promise. Hand me the promissory note. She has a promissory note that you signed about money that you were supposedly, that clearly is not just, we're in a relationship and I'm handing her my paycheck and we just pay for things together because we're in a relationship. She actually has you sign a promissory note during the relationship.
She did.
Saying that you're going to pay back $807.30. What happened?
The paperwork came out of nowhere. Every time I got paid, I handed her my paycheck.
Right, but did you ever pay back? Why did you sign this?
I felt like I had no choice.
Right, but why? It's so specific. It's $807.30 because she says that that's what she had been loaning you. It piled up to that.
It wasn't. It was going back towards her. Everything that she was loaning me was going back towards the house.
Then why would you sign this? Why would, in other words, if he says to me, I need you to sign this that you owe me $807, I say, no, I don't. I give you my whole paycheck. Why would you sign it? You obviously owed her that money at some point.
I felt like at that point in time, I didn't have an option just to satisfy her. I signed the sheet of
Because she was
paper.
nagging you? That's what you call duress? That's not duress. All right, now, tell me about the cell phone. What was the deal with the cell phone?
Okay, so the cell phone came after. He was working at the time, and he wanted a better phone than the phone he had. So he asked me to add him to my plan because he would get a better phone, and it wouldn't be as expensive as him trying to get his own phone. December, he lost his job, so he stopped paying the bill completely. I told him I wasn't going to be able to cover the bill and that he needed
You're
to
suing
pay.
for $305.69 from September of 2013 till May of 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that $305.69 encompasses time that you're together as well. Is he not paying this bill?
No. I have
Okay,
the
but
bills from
according
when
to him, he's handing you his entire paycheck.
His paycheck was no more than $400.
No,
He
I
had-
understand, but is he handing you his entire paycheck every time that
Yes, but at this
okay,
point,
so
our
what are
rent-
you spending it
at
on?
this
How am
point,
I going
our
to figure
rent-
out the pots and pans of your life
At
over the
this-
course of, I'm talking, over the course of the last 7 years? How am I going to figure that out and try to find out where that money went? His answer is, well, Judge, that money's got my handing on my paycheck. I go, yeah, it doesn't cover stuff, but then what were you choosing to have it cover instead of what it covered, you know, like.
Okay, like he said, he would give me what he had. He would keep probably enough for gas or just random stuff that he needed, and he would give me the rest.
What's your defense on the cell phone bill?
Everything that I had, I gave to her in my paycheck. Whether she was paying that with the cell phone bill or not, I didn't know.
Okay, this only became an issue when you got another woman.
When we separated, this when all of this came out, because I was the one when she said, well, the child care, I was babysitting.
Hold on.
I was babysitting my daughter for a whole year.
Excuse me?
I was watching my daughter for a whole
Did
year.
you say babysitting?
Well, I did say babysitting, but I was
Don't
watching.
you ever in your life say that about your own daughter again.
I was watching my daughter for a whole year while she was at work. When I go to work, I come, I watch my daughter. We didn't have any child care bills. I was watching my daughter. I feel like that the cell phone bill the cell phone was a gift to me in order for her to get in communication or get in contact with me and my daughter.
Where's the actual settlement that says that you're going to owe, that the two of you owe the $4,200 something dollars? Where's that?
It's in my phone, and it was
It's in your
taken.
phone. What do you mean it's in your phone?
It's in my
How do
phone.
I know? You can't just pull up you're suing for it.
It was an email, and the driver that brought us here took my phone with him.
Court is in recess.
All
Get some
rise.
access for her to a computer.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So somebody says, hey, she won't allow me to see my daughter, but at the same time, he didn't go to court and get a custody order. Is that a cop-out?
Totally, you got to give it a try. You gotta go for it.
You go to court.
Yeah.
Because that's my point. I mean, if you don't go to court, then it seems like, well, how much do you care?
Yeah, not much, obviously, yeah.
Okay, this is driving me insane. I'm sorry about this. Come up. What? That looks so good. Tell me, what is this thing?
It's a.
That looks like I'm literally going to steal it from you.
I hope you don't. It's a vanilla ice cream. I got it down the block.
I'm like dying right now. That looks so good. I want that. We're going to go inside the courtroom.
Let's start with the $2,186.50 that you say is the amount that he owes for the eviction settlement. You remember that before we had our break, I said to you, where's the judgment itself? The judgment is missing, and the only thing you had, who did you get that from, by the way?
They told me, I called the
landlords?
Yes, and she told me that it was processed through credit.
So here's what they did. They sent you every court document except for the judge's order.
Okay.
And then they send you their own bill for $4,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Well, guess what? The judge's order doesn't say $4,000. $4,000 is what they want you to pay. The judgment against the two of you is only for $320.
Are you serious?
I am not kidding you. Now, that is not to say that they could file a lawsuit against you, in which case you'd have a fresh lawsuit against him. But unless you paid them $4,000 to settle a case, I'm not ordering him to pay you $2,000, half of something you haven't paid. They could say $10 million. Well, why don't they just say $10 million? They could say whatever they want in their letter to you. We have damages of $4,000, so we want you to pay that. But that's not. That's why I took a recess, because I wanted to make sure that it was as much as you were saying. So this is the only judgment that's affecting your credit.
I understand.
You owe her half of that. And that's $160. Now let's discuss everything else. We have a series of loans and the telephone charges dating from 2013. How am I supposed to dissect? I am not in the business of looking at every relationship and trying to figure out who had the salad and who had, the pasta, and you owe him $1, you owe him or $3, wait, and now you owe. I can't do that. We're not equipped for that. When you folks play house, you play house. And it's very hard to keep score, and the best evidence of whether that money is owed is whether you were acting like it was owed. There was never a lawsuit until the guy left you. And we're talking about something that was years ago. On the judgment, I get you. I understand that's affecting your credit. He should pay half for sure. But on the rest of that stuff, after the man is working and handing you his paycheck, he assumes that, you're in this together. And then all of a sudden, he breaks up with you, and then you're suing for all this. No. I am ordering you to pay half of the judgment, which is $160. And your court costs in this case. Doesn't matter what you asked him for.
I even asked him in the text message that he showed you for my money. It wasn't something that just came about.
We're done. You picked him. I didn't. Okay?
Oh, yes, I did.
So the plaintiff prevails to the tune of $160. Mr. Daniels, number one, how do you feel about the outcome?
Feel pretty good.
You're okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you something. The judge really came down hard on you for not being a good father and said you should go to court to get the rights to go visit your child. Are you going to do that?
Well, for one, I am a great father, and I am going to go and file the paperwork, which I'm already in the process of doing.
All right.
And we shall have judgment on that also.
Well, good luck. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You hit this the wrong way. Officer McIntosh is waiting for you out there. Now, Ms. Gibson. Well, $160. It's a far cry from what you were seeking. You wanted to tell the judge something, but, she made her decision. Too late.
Yeah, it was basically regarding the cell phone bill. She said I hadn't asked for my money, but I've been asking for money for a long time.
How do you feel about the outcome?
It's fine. I'd take
you sure?
what I got. Mm-hmm. It's okay.
$160, you're satisfied, huh?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
As long as it was.
All right, officer. It's waiting for you. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, it is so important to bring critical evidence to court. If you don't, it will screw up your credibility. Move to the back. I cannot stand this anymore. You move forward here. Okay, block that. Okay, that'll do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Llévate más de lo que esperas todos los días con el nuevo McValue en McDonald's. Ahora puedes comprar uno y sumarle otro por $1. Así que cuando tu equipo favorito enfrente a sus rivales, enfrenta tus antojos con $5 Meal Deals. Y si estás corriendo para alcanzar el desayuno, corre a la para llevarte ofertas antes del cut-off. Tú decides, y con McValue, tu decisión siempre rinde más. Precios y participación pueden variar. BOGO $1 válido para un producto de igual o menor valor. Debe estar registrado en Rewards para ofertas en el app.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
This is the plaintiff, Jim Behrens, Jr. He says he hired the defendant, a licensed plumber, to do work on his house, and the guy sent his assistant to do the work instead. Turns out the assistant isn't licensed. He did all the work incorrectly, not to code, and now he has to have everything ripped out and done over. He's very angry at the defendant, wants a full refund of the $1,250 he paid him, and is suing for just that today because the guy is ignoring him. This is the defendant, Joseph Pedroza. He says he took out all the necessary permits on the plaintiff's new house. He's totally licensed and certified and has a perfectly clean record. The plaintiff's completely out of his mind by filing this lawsuit. Everything out of his mouth is a lie. And he's going to be sorry he sued him today because he's the one who will walk out of here with money, not the plaintiff. He's accused of fouling up the pipes. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for the balance of monies owed and slander.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says he hired the defendant to do plumbing work, but he sent an assistant who screwed the job up royally. Now, the defendant says it was all done just right. It's the case of pipe down.
Thank you, Douglas. Mr. Behrens, you are suing Mr. Petroza's Plumbing and Mechanical Company for $1,250 that, according to you, he forced you to spend because he bailed out of an agreement the two of you had. You're counterclaiming against him $5,000 for slander and the remaining balance of a payment you feel he owes you. Tell me what happened, Mr. Behrens.
Okay, I was preparing to build a house in 2014, and I needed a plumber. I contacted a local plumber who was a friend of Mr. Petroza, and he agreed to do the job. He was not licensed in the township, so we needed a licensed plumber, and that's where the defendant came into play. We had a meeting at John's house, and it was agreed that Mr. Petroza, who is licensed, would lend his license signature to the applications for the town, the gas permit, and he would advise John if any questions came up to make sure everything was up to code, and he would do this for $1,000. John, the plumber doing the hands-on work, called Mr. Petroza when he had a question, and at first he was responsive, and then as a few months went by, we could not get a hold of him whatsoever. We needed inspections. He was not available to do any inspections.
Meaning he wouldn't return calls, or he was busy?
Return calls or texts, and he never visited the job site except for that first time to ask me for the check and do the paperwork.
Okay.
August 3rd, he finally shows up, unannounced. No one's there. We're out getting materials. I say, great, you're there. He calls me. I say, great, you're there.
Did you know that he was going to go that day?
No. Okay. I said, I'll be there in 4 minutes. I didn't care, as long as you're there. I'll be there in 4 minutes. He goes, yeah, you're wasting my...
What was he there for?
He was there to finally start checking the work to make sure it was up to code so it would pass inspection. So he shows up. He's not there. I said, well, that's fine. I'll be right there. I'm 4 minutes away. He goes, you're wasting my time. And I said, I'm wasting your time. We couldn't get a hold of you for months. And then he says, well, up yours. He hangs up the phone on me. So I called John, the guy who's doing the hands-on work. He goes, I could have been there too in 2 minutes. He was right around the corner. So John said, I had an argument with him also, and we may as well find a new plumber. How to find a new plumber who was licensed, how to pay all the fees all over again, how to coordinate everything with the gas company myself. So I then, at that point, and I have copies of all that, and I have an affidavit from John attesting to everything, supporting what I'm saying.
The affidavit from John, I would like to see.
This is the hands-on plumber. So basically,
okay. Mr. Petroza, let me hear from you. What's going on?
Well, first, I'd like to rebut the one statement about the fact that they contacted me and I didn't show up. I'm turning my cell phone back on again because I have an email, a text message from Mr. Behrens showing that, in fact, he called me to make an inspection. I showed up, and he told me that John would be there all day long, and John was not there. The place was shut down completely, and then the phone calls went back and forth. So,
okay. So you're rebutting the idea that you showed up unannounced, which I find far-fetched, because why would you show up unannounced if you want somebody to be there?
And by the way, John is not a plumber. John works for facilities maintenance at JFK Airport.
What was John's role in this place?
Apparently, John did all the plumbing work. I don't...
Right, just a moment. Before you got, at the time that you got involved in this house, you got involved by whom? Who brought you in?
John did.
Okay. What did John tell you to get you to come to meet with him? That what?
John told me we had done a house together, he and I, in Valley Stream, and John said he had another house to do in Merrick. Would I come and work with him?
Okay. And then you agreed to do that?
I agreed to come and do that.
Working with him meant what?
We would physically be doing the work together.
Okay. Except for that you went to this meeting, and your agreement in this case was that he would do the work and you would lend your good name and supervise and be available and be there for inspections and all that for $1,000.
No. First of all, the fee was $1,500.
Do you have a contract?
No. We have no contract. No.
Nobody has a written contract here?
A verbal agreement, which was...
Does anybody
How do you find a good plumber? How do you find a good plumber?
Hey, you can Bing it.
Okay, but how do you know that it's going to be a good person?
You can call or just look at the ratings.
Okay, it's still a little bit of a crapshoot. What do you say?
You got to talk to friends and family, people who've used plumbers, your family, your friends. Those are the people who know.
I'm kind of buying his explanation. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Going inside the courtroom.
Does anybody have texts or emails that might encompass the actual amount of what the agreed upon fee was?
No.
Just both of you flapping your gums?
No.
Well, yes.
We don't
Both
have
of you
it.
flapping your gums.
Right.
Okay, so
You
go
got-
ahead.
All right. First of all, I never had access to the building. Never. The building was surrounded by a chain link fence all the time.
Okay, so you go there and what happens?
The
John
place
is
is
not
completely closed up, chain link fence closed up, can't even get into the building.
there. So what do you do?
I called them up.
What were they saying?
Oh, listen, the expletives we don't want to put on TV, do we?
Oh, but I do.
You know, I was called an SOB, I was called a number of different things and whatever, and
Did you call him that?
Yeah.
No.
Did John?
Anyway.
I don't know what John said to him.
No,
Well, you're
this was,
standing right with him.
Oh, no.
this
John.
was Mr. Behrens. It wasn't John.
Oh, he says it was you.
Yes.
I don't know. Seems to me kind of foolhardy when you need somebody to call him all that after the inspection.
Well, I really didn't call him a thing. I was so happy he returned he was on the phone.
Yeah,
I
I'd
said,
be
I
offering to
will
bring
be
him
there.
coffee and breakfast and
I'll
whatever
be
the heck
there in
else.
4 minutes. I'll roll out the red carpet. Let's just get it done.
Okay, I
had
got
my
a
life
feeling that
savings
if
in
you
it.
guys had been that polite I think you were shocked that he had just showed up without planning it, and then he probably had a slight attitude, and then you guys gave him the attitude back because you felt he had shown up without giving you adequate
He actually
notice.
said I was wasting his time by not being
And
there.
then
I said,
that's
I'll
it.
be
See,
there in 4 minutes.
Right. But
And
see,
he said, "You're wasting my time."
My life is about pinpointing the very second. I love dissecting the anatomy of a lawsuit. I'm going to pinpoint for you the very second this became a lawsuit. Are you ready?
Hmm?
I'm wasting your time. That's when this became a lawsuit, because you'd had it and then you lost it, which I totally understand. However, it became a lawsuit at that moment because you got to know when you have to kill him with kindness, and you have to know how much cheaper it would be for you to just bite it, say to yourself, I will be there in 4 minutes. Please, so sorry. Can I bring you anything? I'm on my way. And then get there, get this stupid thing done, get his signature on it, and then you can call him up and call him everything in the phone book from A to Z. But before then, it's kind of unwise because, as he so eloquently put in his answer to the complaint, I didn't need him, he needed me. And now look at you. Everybody here is playing ¿Quién es más macho? That's what happens. That's why you pull the permit, because you're more macho than him. And that's why you find yourself in a lawsuit, because you think you're more macho than him. But the most macho person here is me. You cannot, because you're angry, decide that you will not only not fulfill your end of the bargain, but worse, pull the permit, which I guess they're kind of hand in hand in this case because it's your name on the line. I understand that. You could do that, and that may be the best business decision you've ever made, okay, that you're just going to divorce yourself of this whole thing. But that wasn't what he paid you for, and that wasn't your agreement.
Number one, he didn't pay me.
You can't do that. Well, you had been paid $500 down payment,
Right.
and they had invested $750 in permits that they had to put in a toilet when you turned around and pulled your permits and didn't want your name associated with it.
So
then he had to go pay another guy $750 because you didn't finish what it is you agreed to do. Okay?
The whole
So
point
that
is we never
cost
had
him
a contract.
$750, and then you also want your $500 back.
Then I paid him.
Well, but there was a period of time when he was answering phone calls and answering questions. I mean, what's that worth? Zero?
A brief period, and he signed the National Grid application and
Okay,
the
so that's not worth
applications,
zero.
which I
What
had
is your counterclaim against him for?
I had
for
to redo the whole thing.
Well, then you did. Yeah, I know. I understand. But the $5,000 that you counterclaim against him,
Okay,
tell
there
me
was
about that.
$1,000 balance due for when I filed all the paperwork for him for
The first thing you got to do is prove to me that your contract was for $1,500. According to John and him, it was for $1,000.
Well,
prove to me it was $1,500. You
we
can't.
don't
Okay.
have
The
anything
next
in
thing
writing.
is slander.
Okay.
What did he do?
All right, what he did was he then called up the town of Hempstead and tried to file a complaint against me and spread my name throughout the other inspectors in the town of Hempstead, where I'm well respected, and I have had a license there for over 30 years. You have a copy of it right there. And he smeared my name in the town of Hempstead.
How easy was it to smear your name if you had a license there for 30 years and you're well respected and they know you? Do you have any evidence that anything he said affected anybody?
No, you think the inspectors are not going to do that. You know, they're not going to sign affidavits to that effect.
Okay. Based on what I've heard, I'm going to rule as follows. As for your counterclaim against him, zero. And as for your claim against him, there was some work done. I realize that you had to start some of it over because he pulled the permits, but not all of it, because the plumbing work had actually been done, and some of it with some, rapport with him. So I am going to order the defendant to repay the plaintiff $900. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails. Mr. Petroza, the defendant's on his way out of the courtroom. The judge called you Mr. Macho. You feel like Mr. Macho?
Well, I don't really think macho is the proper word. Yeah. But, like I told the truth, and it's simple as that.
Well, you weren't convincing enough. Sorry
about it. I guess so.
I guess so.
I guess I'm not Clarence Darrow.
I guess not. Officer McIntosh has some documents for you to sign. Now here comes Mr. Behrens. You didn't get all you were seeking, but you're getting something back.
I'm
That's
very
better than
happy
nothing,
about
right?
that. Yes,
You're happy.
I'm impressed with the judge. Yes.
Okay, very good. You went through a lot of problems with this. Is it over now?
It is over. Yes. Thank goodness.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
You two have to sign some documents, and Harvey, your turn.
You have an urge sometimes to save money, but when it comes to plumbers, hire a licensed one. It means something. It means that they're answerable to the licensing agency. A lot of times they're bonded. Just a better idea. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Out here, there's no one way of doing things. No unwritten rules, and no shortage of adventure. Because out here, the only requirement is having fun. Bank of America invites kids 6 to 18 to golf with us. For a limited time, sign them up for a free 1-year membership, giving them access to discounted tee times at thousands of courses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/golf with us. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Restrictions apply. See BofA.com/golf with us for complete details. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
This is the plaintiff, Alan Riles. He says the defendant ruined his leather varsity jacket at her inferior dry cleaning establishment, and she refuses to pay him for a new one. The insane defendant won't even give him the jacket because she's afraid it'll help him prove his case. This is crazy behavior, and he's here suing the woman for $450, the money he's now owed. This is the defendant, Sarah. She says she followed the instructions on the fake leather jacket. It said dry clean only. She did. And now the plaintiff's trying to get over on her. The plaintiff even told the cops the jacket was new, which it wasn't. He's the scammer here, and she thinks the judge is going to see right through him. She's accused of junking up a jacket.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the dry cleaner ruined his varsity leather jacket, but the defendant says that she followed the instructions to the letter. It's the case of give me an S, give me a U, give me an E.
You're welcome.
Alan Riles,
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
suing, you've asked to be referred to only as Sarah? Okay, you're suing Sarah's Dry Cleaners for $450. The cost of a jacket that you say they ruined. Tell me what happened.
I brought 2 jackets into the cleaners, and one was the varsity leather jacket with the
In
wool.
question,
Yes,
the one that got ruined.
this
And another
is
one
the
you have
knit
there.
Jacket, yes.
Okay, can I see the one you have there?
Yes. I only paid $16 to get this one clean.
And everything's fine with that one?
Everything's fine.
That's fine.
Okay. Now, I asked her, are you going to take my coat to a professional
The
leather
other coat.
cleaner? The other coat.
Well, isn't she a professional?
She's supposed to be.
So wait, so why would you ask her, are you going to take it to a professional?
Because I asked her, I said, do you do leather cleaning here? She says, no.
Oh, meaning are you going to send it out?
Are you going to send it out? She said she's going to look into it.
Okay.
So I wait 2 weeks. I already paid for this one. When I get back, she said it's only going to cost me $22. I said, $22. So I gave her the money. She let me see. She tried to whisk me out the door.
How does she whisk you out the door?
Because she came to the door, like, she just handed me my jacket. So I looked at it before I went.
Of course you looked at it.
Yeah.
But what was she doing to block you from looking at it?
I mean, it's not that. She tried to rush me. Like,
Who's she? Is it Sarah who you were dealing with or somebody
I don't
else?
think it was her.
Who was it?
I think it was somebody else.
Who was he dealing with, do you know?
It was me. I just got a haircut.
You got a haircut.
Okay.
All
right, go
ahead. But the thing is, when he came up to the leather, I said, I called the police because I got upset.
Why? What did you see when you looked at the jacket?
Because the jacket was stiff. The luster was out of it. You know, it's like she washed the jacket.
Okay.
You don't wash leather.
Okay.
And I said, when the police got there, I said, why? I said, you didn't send it out? She said, it would have cost me more. That insulted me.
Do you have the jacket here?
Yes.
I need to see it. She said it would have cost you more?
Yes, it's supposed to be professionally dry cleaned.
Right.
She took the whole luster out of it. It's stiff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's stiff. How was this cleaned?
It was, I followed the care label instructions.
Which says what?
To dry clean it.
So you dry cleaned it. Do you dry clean in-house or do you send that out too?
I dry clean in-house.
Did you expect it to turn out like this?
No, I did not.
Right, so we agree that this isn't how it should turn out.
No.
Correct?
Correct.
Correct. All right, so let's see what the instructions say. Dry clean petroleum process. What's that?
So there's two methods of dry cleaning. There's one that's with perc solvent, and then there's one with hydrosolvent. And hydro is usually more for delicate materials, such as, at the moment, there's no indication that that was a leather jacket. But
What do you mean? Wouldn't you look at these sleeves and think they're leather?
Initially, it wasn't looking like that. That's why I told him that I was going to find out how
initially, so when the guy brings it to you, it wasn't wool, it was. Why wouldn't you look at it and think this is leather?
I mean, initially it looks like that now, but I brought other samples, how it looked prior to the cleaning. And just like recipes, there's ingredients for like when you buy boxes at the supermarket, there's ingredients listed.
Right.
On articles of fabric, it shows what all the material components are made out of.
So what is it you're saying then? That the label doesn't say leather? Is that what you're saying?
The label didn't say leather. It did not specify that it needed to go to a leather care specialist.
Okay. Show me the other jackets.
So this is one that has all the instructions on it and the care label. I followed it.
Is this somebody else's jacket you brought in?
Yeah.
Where does this one say anything about leather?
No, that one doesn't say leather. These two items are leather that got leather cleaned.
Why? Did you clean this?
Yes.
How come this came out like this and that came out like that?
Okay, who wins, the customer or the dry cleaner?
The dry cleaner, because I'm a vegetarian, so...
Oh, so you want to just take it out on somebody who buys leather, I got it.
Yeah, well,
what do you say?
I think it's the client.
The
customer, right.
Because?
Because it should be, this dry cleaner is a profession.
Fair enough, I respect what you said. Going inside the courtroom.
The black one is not real leather.
And this one is real leather?
Real leather.
So are you suggesting that because it's real leather and it doesn't list in the care instructions that it's real leather, this isn't your fault? Is that what you're saying?
I did follow up with a leather specialist that comes to my cleaning. Initially, I told him I wasn't sure if that jacket could be cleaned at my establishment or if I did have to send it to a leather care specialist.
This was after you already ruined it?
No, this was before, prior.
Okay.
This is why he never received a ticket. That's why he paid for that jacket first. He looked at the jacket, he looked at the care instructions, and he said, I don't think I can clean this at my establishment. And I confirmed with the other guy who does the actual cleaning in my store. He said it was fine. So when it came out of the machine, it was fine. It's just during the steaming process where it did get damaged.
Okay, so you damaged his jacket. So what did you offer to do for him?
I offered him to re-clean it.
How is re-cleaning going to solve this?
Because now we found out that was initial leather, I was going to go back to the leather company and say, hey, this is what happened, and see if they can repair it.
Did you do that?
No, once I offered to do that, and he said right off the bat that he was going to just take me to court,
right?
Then I didn't see any reason to.
How about just to give the guy back his jacket without it being damaged?
Because
that's a reason to.
No, because initially he had first he claimed that he received that coat as a gift. And then when the police officers came, he said it was worth $200.
Do you have any evidence as to what the jacket is worth?
It's worth over $230 because...
Do you have any evidence?
I have evidence right here that the jacket, for a regular sized person like him, it'll cost $230. I'm a 3X. So it says up here, adult sizes small to 5X, up charges apply.
Okay, can I just see what you're looking at?
Yes.
How long ago did you get the jacket?
It's been about 1.5 years. I didn't wear it that much because my weight fluctuates, and I don't wear green every day.
Okay.
I only wore it like once or twice. All I wanted
but how did you end up almost doubling what your own evidence says the jacket's
Because I had
worth?
to take time out to go downtown.
No. But you're saying up charges apply, and your up charges are double?
No.
Where's
The
your
up
evidence
charges-
that it's $450, my dear?
Listen, I'm saying it because of I had to go downtown. She took my money. She ruined my jacket.
Okay.
And I have to go get another one.
Okay. How does that mean you're entitled to double what the jacket's worth? Plus, you understand.
Plus pain and suffering. She hijacked
Pain
my
and
jacket.
suffering, the old pain and suffering. Yes, pain and suffering on a jacket. Gotcha. Let me explain to you what court is about.
Yes, ma'am.
Court is about putting you in the position you were in before the bad thing happened. It's not about ching ching, let the cash register ring.
No.
So what you would be entitled to is not the replacement value of what it would cost you to go out and get a new jacket.
Right.
Because that's a new jacket. That's worth more than this
only
one.
wanted one time.
What you are, do you have an off button? Okay. What you are entitled to is the depreciated value of the item at the time that it's ruined. And you have to understand that that's the value of a used jacket, a year and a half or 10-year-old jacket or whatever it is.
But I only wore it once.
I don't care how many times you wore it. What do you think? I'm going to get into that? How many times did you wear it? Is it a good color on you? Do you score when you wear it? Like, Judge, I love that jacket. Everybody was falling all over me whenever I wore it. No, that's not how you do it. You ruined the guy's jacket. I'm going to order you to pay him. No, we're done. I'm going to order you to pay him $100 plus the $22 that you paid for the dry cleaning for a sum total judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $122. Verdict for the plaintiff.
So in a pretty cut and dry case, the plaintiff prevails. Are you surprised that he won the case?
A little bit, yes.
I mean, didn't you feel you were going to be, you're going to lose?
No, I did have evidence to show that that the instructions have to be clear, and if I did follow the instruction and it get damaged, the cleaners are not held liable.
Well, in this court, you are liable.
Yeah, I am liable.
Sorry about that. Our officer has some documents you must sign. Now, here comes the plaintiff. You got your Knicks jacket.
Yeah.
That was okay. The green one, why did you have it clean? What's the matter? You're shaking your head.
Because the price. She didn't clean it. She ruined my jacket. Only wore it once.
One question. You only wore it once. Why are you getting it cleaned?
Because there was smoke smelling it. My father had smoked, and it was smoke in it, and I don't smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
So I had to get it, cleaned out.
So you could smell the cigarettes?
I should have just free-breezed it.
I think you should have. You should have. Well, look, you did your best. The judge explained to you how it works, okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You must sign some documents. Harvey, tough lesson for him.
It sounds unfair, but you don't get replacement value. You get depreciated value at the time it was ruined.